Shalom. I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are my teachers. Much respect to the brothers laboring worldwide in truth and sincerity. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect, believing on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Coming at you with another lesson, Lord willing, is edifying. And the Lord, He has really prepared a sort of destruction for this world, for this current age, this current eon. Why? Because of the wickedness that has been spread across the whole planet. Alright? And I chose this picture because that's what Esau is going to try and do. He's going to try and feed you with the sword. Alright? These bullets. Alright? He's going to try and feed you with abominable foods, man. Alright? And this is just, a small example of how Esau gets down. Alright? None but bullets. Okay? If he can't you know, uh, rationalize things and tricking you, he's coming with the sword. That's why the scriptures say he's going to come down with great wrath. Okay? Now, I found this picture on World Peace Foundation of all sites. Okay? But it's what? Directed at what? A famine, which is going to hit this place, which is prophesied, right? Matter of fact, let's get that right quick. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Yeah, all the words that the Lord has declared are going to come through. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Yeah, that word incredulity means unbelief. Don't worry about if they can't get it, man. Okay, because the Lord hasn't opened up the understanding to get it. But He says, don't worry about it. Don't let that trouble you. Right? It says, for all the unfaithful, see, shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Alright, this famine. Alright, and for some reason it just keeps coming up. I have 3 videos queued, that's going into this great famine that's gonna hit this place. Alright? Like, just this past week alone, that ice storm that hit the Midwest all the way down to Texas, it affected, I believe, like 50% of the wheat crop for this year harvest. Alright? What is that? That's the Lord sending out the plagues on this place, breaking it down little by little with gradualism. Where do you think Esau get it from? The Lord is the king of gradualism. Okay? It says, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. That's why the Lord is breaking these things. Same way when it was in the days of Noah, where it was just none but wickedness on the earth. Right? It says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. That's right. But He said, I'm gonna set watchmen over you that's gonna watch day and night. Alright, give who? Yahweh shall no rest until He establish and make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Right? Verse 9. It says, and therefore, saith the Lord, Yahweh shall I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Yeah, the land of our captivity. Spiritually Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Alright? It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand, and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, you see, and will destroy all the land thereof, you see. And the Lord hadn't destroyed all the land of ancient Egypt. That's how you know it's not talking about ancient Egypt. It's just talking about Babylon the Great, America. Alright? And I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And I will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague, which is that ultimate plague, is what? Those thermonuclear missiles. And the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So the Lord is bringing all these punishments. Alright? They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail, you see, through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation, a fearful outlook, man. Alright? They don't see any type of hope coming to this place. And this, guess what? This is worldwide. Alright? The Lord says he's going to smite the whole earth. Alright? Matter of fact, let's get to these videos, and then we'll get back to the scriptures. Now we see this clip is from January 18th, 2020. 2021, year of hastening the coming of Yahweh by Shai. And like I said, this is from this year, approximately like a month and 3 days ago. But I have a more update video, alright, about this same locust that's coming to hit what? East Africa. Millions and millions and millions of locusts.
Africa has not just suffered from the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, but also the worst locust plague in decades.
Okay, this is the second video, done January 19th, a little more than 3 days ago, 2021, year of the hastening of coming of Yahweh by Shai. Alright?
Not just suffered from the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, but also the worst locust plague in decades. Now, the swarms are returning, and experts are concerned about food security in the region. The farmer living in Garissa County, Kenya, still remembers what happened just a year ago, right during harvest season. The invaders came and destroyed everything.
See that? It says a year ago this same thing happened, right around harvest season. Why? Because the Lord is plaguing the whole world.
Locusts. The plague of the hoppers invaded East Africa, ravaging crops and pastures and driving the level of human hunger and economic hardship higher in parts of the region. 1 year later, right at the start of 2021, the United Nations has warned that a second and maybe even deadlier re-invasion of locusts has already begun. The first wave of the pests emerged at the end of 2019, numbering in hundreds of billions, multiplying by a factor of 20 per generation, according to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. The second generation in March and April numbered in the trillions, a plague that spread like wildfire up to now. This is the sequel to the 2020 locust swarm. The adults have flown to different areas and are laying eggs, said Francis Duncan, professor of animal, plant and environmental sciences at the University of the Witwatersrand. If we have good rains, as is currently the case in most areas, the hoppers will hatch, and we will get a second swarm wave.
You see, Lord Yahweh Shah can use anything as an army, man. Before we play this last video, let's get another preset.
Locusts, as with
I definitely didn't have this on there. That's why. I don't see how it changed in the middle of me doing a lesson. Which is crazy.
locusts, as with
That's crazy. Salaki. Cause I got one more video I want to feature. We'll have commercials.
The batch.
Okay. And this is done by the Epic Economist. This will really spark the lesson today. You know, I said, I seen this pop up on my timeline. It says a biblical invasion of locusts. Why is that word biblical there? Right? Threatens to cause widespread famine in the Horn of Africa. You see? Well, this thing is worldwide. Alright? What did I want? Yep, Psalms. We're gonna get to the point. You get a chance, read all of this. It starts out the Lord's wonderful works in behalf of Israel. You see, the Lord has always fought for us. All right, let's jump down to verse 23. Let's get to the point. You know what? Let's just read it. This is Psalms 105 and 23. Israel also came into Egypt, Mizraim, right? And Jacob, Yahweh, sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moses his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. He sent darkness and made it dark, and that's something else that's being brought to the forefront. That blackout, man. All right, this is what the Lord has prepared. Okay, seeing the massive blackout that was in Texas just a week ago. Well, that was just a test run for the whole country. Okay, it says he sent darkness and made it dark, and they rebelled not against his word. He turned their waters into blood, and slew their fish, and slew their fish. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chambers of their kings, and that's another thing. All right, the water was undrinkable. Okay, now that everything is done through Esau with his filtering, he put in these different chemicals to take out the impurities in the water. It's like, hey, when all that stuff gets shut down, you're not gonna be able to drink the water because it's gonna be full of impurities. All right, what is that? Said there was parasites in there. Okay, it says, verse 30 again. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chamber of their kings. He spake, and there came divers sorts of flies and lice in all their coasts. You see? He gave them hail for rain and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines, also their figs, and brake the trees of their coasts. He spake, and the locusts came, and the caterpillars, and that without number. They did eat up all the herbs in their land and devour the fruit of their ground. See, he smote also the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. Yeah, the cattle. All right, and the cattle to the men. The Lord got them all. All right. Now something went wrong with the Beethoven. Okay. All right. So this is the Lord showing you, just like we read in Second Ezra, where He said He's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. Now let's get this video.
A biblical invasion of locusts is decimating many crops and threatening to cause widespread famine in the Horn of Africa. Last year, the devastating plague of locusts had already destroyed millions of hectares of agricultural land in eastern Africa, across the Middle East, and throughout much of Asia. But many were hoping that would be an isolated event. However, this year's second wave is threatening the livelihoods of more than 39 million people, according to UN estimates. Experts with the organization have affirmed that the new infestation is completely unprecedented, and the situation is bound to get much worse in the coming months as the insects are fast reproducing, and it's getting harder and harder to keep the problem under control. That's what we're going to expose today. Stay with us. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell to always get our latest notifications. The locusts are back, and they are hungry. The insect plague is once again taking over the Horn of Africa, as a new generation of pests is fast breeding and hatching. In countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, the next harvest is at serious risk of being devastated by the massive locust swarms. But what is even more concerning is the fact that millions of families that have been impaired and severely impoverished by years of crises will likely fall even further into a downward spiral of hunger and poverty as a consequence of the destruction of these crops. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization is warning that the next generation of locusts is threatening the livelihoods of more than 39 million people across Ethiopia, Yemen, Somalia, Sudan, and Kenya. Over the past few months, the pests have affected over 1.3 million hectares of agricultural land in the Horn of Africa. But now, in northern and central regions of Kenya, including 15 districts and many new areas, the second wave is fast spreading and critically impacting locals' food security. The country has roughly 1.9 million people already living in a precarious nutrition situation, which could now dramatically worsen. In a recent report, Kieran Allen, a British pilot who's tracking locust swarms in Kenya, revealed to be shocked when he came across a swarm about twice the size of the city of London, ready to devour every bit of vegetation in its wake. When the pilot made an unexpected turn over a forested mountainside in the vast Samburu National Reserve
Hey, Salakia.
central Kenya, he found the mountain valleys awash with millions of flitting white dots. Officials have been comparing the scene to the events described in the Old Testament, the biblical plague of Abraham, now brought on by climate change.
There go that buzzword again, climate change. What's the climate change? Well, the Israelites, the Lord has granted them return. All right, He has His men out on the highways, byways, prophesying the downfall of this wicked kingdom, and it's coming to pass. That's the climate change. Listen to these buzzwords.
the scene to the events described in the Old Testament, the biblical plague of Abraham, now brought on by climate change, compromising the food supply of a region that regularly faces acute outbursts of hunger. The report outlines that nothing like this has been witnessed in Kenya since the 1950s, and officials were caught off guard as they tried to combat swarms roughly the size of Luxembourg with a handful of planes and almost no proper equipment.
Now, why would they use Luxembourg? Luxembourg was one of the 10 EU nations to sign that EU agreement. I believe this. Make sure that I'm pretty sure Luxembourg was original. Let's look that up. Yep. Let's see. Original 10. Yep. That's right. It says the members. That's the spirit. The Lord had me remember that. The original members of what came to be known as the European communities were the inner six: Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, what the guy just mentioned, right? Netherlands and West Germany. All right, let's go back. Make sure I heard him correctly.
Caught off guard as they tried to combat swarms roughly the size of Luxembourg with a handful of planes and almost no
Yeah, Luxembourg. Why, out of all things, why would that be put in this video? All right, the Lord has a way of making this point known. Okay, because when this famine hits, it's going to cause people to want to depend more on the government. All right, which is going to initiate what UBI, Universal Basic Income. Okay, and what else? The RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast with this digital currency. See, everything is moving digital, but the way the Lord has it playing out, it's going to come on you people suddenly, like this famine.
proper equipment. According to experts' projections, a single swarm can contain up to 80 million locusts, which can literally ravage an entire farm in as little as 30 seconds. In a single day, these swarms are capable of traveling vast distances, up to 80 miles, depending on the wind. Every day, each locust can eat its weight in vegetation, and they multiply 20-fold every 3 months. That's why experts say a swarm can effortlessly eat as much food as 35,000 people in a single day and multiply 24 times in 3 months. Local farmers have seen the crops they have been growing throughout almost a year completely wiped out within a few days. That's the case of 70-year-old Isabella Kauroki, who said she has never witnessed such a devastating invasion of desert locusts in her entire life. She exclaimed, "I have lost everything. What do you expect me to eat?" The farmer lives in central Kenya, an agricultural region known for its rich volcanic soils, moderate rainfall. Farmers like her usually see the rains as a blessing, but as well as being favorable to crops, the rains also favor locusts to reproduce quickly. Now, over half of all Kenyan counties have been hit. Every day, more local farmers report their fields have been completely devastated. As locusts move off into the wilderness, they lay millions of eggs across the land, which hatch in about 15 days, vastly increasing the size of the swarms. Farmers who are still recovering from the losses caused by the previous swarms, as well as years of droughts and floods, particularly livestock farmers, who now lack feed for their stock, are amongst the hardest hit, according to the organizations. Without enough
See that?
feed for their livestock, they
Even the livestock is being affected because they eat some of the portion of this food, but they're not going to be able to eat. Okay? Once the locusts tear up the crops, what is the food that the livestock are going to eat, man? All right, the Lord has put this thing together so beautifully. Let's let's go forward a little bit. It looks like we're gonna have a commercial, so I'm gonna mute it. Yep, skip ad.
Africa, but all over the world,
Another ad, slocky.
America. Truth is that
Yep, here we
actually
go.
with
See, this
those
thing is
suffering from
worldwide.
famines and literally facing starvation on the other side of the planet. We might not realize that when a disruption in such proportions happens in one country, that triggers a cascade effect in supply chains across the world, and eventually it also hits us by sparking shortages of some items while also elevating our already overly inflated food prices. In these countries, the consequences are harsh and immediate. But although it takes a while until we see the effects in our reality, the truth is that damage of this magnitude also contribute to aggregate our nation's hunger crisis too. When food prices start to soar, fewer people can afford their meals. The numbers and projections reported didn't solely account people that could face food insecurity in Africa, but all over the world, America included. The United Nations forecasts that 54 million Americans are already dealing with some degree of food insecurity, and this
See, the Lord said this thing is gonna be worldwide, man. All right, and the Lord know how to humble you people, man. All right, that's how He humbled Israel. Okay, the children of Israel coming out of the land of Egypt. He humbled them with what? A famine. Matter of fact, let's get that. As the Lord, he knows how to get to you people, man. All right, and He said He's gonna put all these curses upon our enemies, also. Deuteronomy chapter 8. We'll start at the top. Says the Most High's gracious dealings, and He has been gracious to us, man, allowing us to understand this truth, to come back to Him in all sincerity, right? So this is Deuteronomy 8 and 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, right? And to prove thee, to know what is in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, you see? And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord Yahweh Shai do man live. You see? So it's the Lord who's doing this. Alright? His words are going forth. And he said he's going to bring a great famine upon the world. Alright? Like this thing says. A biblical invasion of locusts, right? And in turn, it's going to affect the whole world.
figure will continue to climb as the planet remains impaired by many challenges. The latest events in Texas have outlined how easily our food and water distribution system can be rattled. With economic suffering on the rise, an increase in food prices can be the difference between having something and having nothing to eat in some households. For the first time in history, 1 in every 4 American children is facing food insecurity. That means that our next generation will face the same cognitive, economic, and health problems as children living in third world countries. In addition to the human toll, that will have an enormous cost to our country. And something we learned during the current recession is that we cannot count on our leaders to give us a helping hand. Instead of properly assisting our workers through the introduction of effective safety nets, authorities left most Americans relying on food banks to have something to eat. Some pantries registered an uptick in demand of nearly 80%, and that was last year alone. People are reportedly waiting in line for hours since they have no other choice, no prospects of ever regaining their jobs and turning their life around. The situation Africa is experiencing right now matters to us because the whole world is now interconnected. We have to remember that what happens in one place eventually affects others as well. The U.S. might not be undergoing a crisis with the same intensity, but we can't deny life is getting harder and harder in our nation. As economic collapse writer Michael Snyder perfectly summarized in his last article, even in the best of times, we have struggled to feed everyone on the planet, and these are definitely not the best of times. If you enjoyed this video, you will...
You see, this is the Lord bringing those evil days, man. All right, he said these are not the best of times. All right, evil meaning ill, well, Eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. All right, this is an evil time, a bad time. All right, and that's what the Lord has prepared for this place. As you see, all these things are now what coming to pass. Let me switch and get the Beethoven back going. Salakia. Okay. Make sure we good. Alright. Yeah, man, it's the Lord that's doing these things. Alright, and Yahushua prophesied about these things. Okay? Now, let's go to Luke chapter 21. And let's start at verse 7. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall draw, and the time draw near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. You see? And we see those signs every day coming from heaven. Alright, we see the signs on the earth. The earthquakes in diverse places. The pestilence. And now what? This great famine that the Lord has prepared for this place. Okay? Why? Because the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, you see, bad days, bad times, right? The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? You see? Oh, the Lord has prepared great mornings for this place. Alright? It says, Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. Yeah, it's supposed to get you right, man. You supposed to ponder these things and wonder why the Lord is doing this, right? But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. You see? Behold, victory shall be so good cheap upon earth. Yeah, yeah, damn near 20 nuggets for $1 at Burger King, man. Come on, man. You know that ain't food. You got Bill Gates talking about the richest countries eat 100% synthetic meat, right? They had a brother did a video on an article regarding celebrities and selling their actual tissue to go in meat. The actual tissue is being replicated to go in meat. This is the wickedness of this place. It exceedingly polluted the whole earth, man. Okay? It says again, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. You see? Sword, famine, and great confusion. And yeah, great confusion is growing on this earth, man. You don't know if a man is a woman is man. Alright? Esau set up things on purpose to deceive. Alright? That cunning serpent. Okay? For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of the famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. You see? The dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Yeah, it's going to be what they going crazy for a lack of bread. Okay? And that's one of the worst ways to go. You know, dying of what? Starvation, right? Let's jump down. Because these things, once again, are like birth pains. You know, once they start, they're going to keep going and going and going. Let's start at verse 37. Or continue in verse 37. Behold, the players draw nigh and are not slack. Says, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. You see? Even so shall not the plagues be slack that come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and the sorrow shall come upon it on every side. You see? There's not going to be escape for these plagues that the Lord has prepared for this place. Alright? And they're intensifying left and right, you know, coming about. Alright? It says, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, Salakia, hit the wrong button. It says, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be as pilgrims, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Yeah, man. You might have to flee your house, man. Alright? You know? Why? Because of the lack of bread. I want to jump down and get that too. I want to say it's like 60. Yep, 70, Salakia. It reads, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Yeah, who to fear the Lord? The Israelites. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses. Then shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. You see? It says, hear ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. You see? We're not to fear these things. Alright? Because the Lord said he's going to deliver us from those same troubles. All right. Now I mentioned earlier, dying of a famine is a terrible way to go. All right. Let's read about it. This is Lamentations 4 and 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that are slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. The hands of the pitiful women have saddened their own children. Yeah, cannibalism coming back, man, in a big way, right? You think The Walking Dead was bad, but the dudes out there talking about contaminated meat, contaminated meat, right? It says the hands, and if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, on one of the episodes, Jake of all people got caught by some Edomites, man, who were what eating people, and they liked them fresh, so they left him alive, drugged him up, and cut off his leg. But he had been bitten by a so-called zombie, and he was getting ready to die anyway. All right, but they didn't find a bite on him, and he said they were eating contaminated meat. Okay, back in his, excuse for the the off topic. I just want to explain that this is Lamentations 4 and 10 again. The hands of the pitiful women have saddened their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. You see that? It says the Lord have accomplished his fury. He have poured out his fierce anger, and have kindled a fire in Zion, and have devoured the foundations thereof. Yeah, our punishment is accomplished. But the Lord is now bringing these punishments on our enemies. Go read Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Alright? I want to jump down. Verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Yeah, you're going to drink of this cup. Alright? Of famine, of pestilence. Alright? Of utter destruction. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity, O daughter of Zion, yet the elect, right? It says what? The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished. Alright? He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins, yeah. And how is he doing that? By the way of the prophets, man. Constantly crying day and night to Yahweh Shah for all the abomination that's done in the midst thereof. Right? And the thing is, matter of fact, let's get this precept. When these famines, just like we read in Second Ezra, these plagues are shot like an arrow. All right, and an arrow is silent. You can't hear it until it hits you. Okay, and that's how the Lord is going to send this famine. You're not going to realize it until it hits you. This is Ezekiel 5 and 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, you see, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, I will increase the famine upon you. I will break your staff of bread. Yeah, this is the Lord Yahweh Shah said he's going to do these things. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence again, and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord Yahweh Shah has spoken it. Yeah, this is the Lord giving one last swing to Israel, man. He's going to only save the elect up out of this destruction. Okay? But these things are going to come suddenly. Like an arrow is silent, okay, and you don't feel it till it hits you. It's too late. Alright? But the Lord said his servants are going to eat. Matter of fact, let me get the balance. Okay. Let's have that already. Ready. Salaki. Let me go one chapter over. And we'll have it already ready. But once again, these things are going to be sudden. All right, you haven't been looking, about on these things. Haven't been watching, being sober. Guess what? This gonna come upon you unawares. This is Second Ezra, chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Yeah. What is this talking about? It's talking about the internet, man. All right, the books are open before the firmament. All right, these things are readily be made known to the children of Israel. Right? It says the children of your old shall speak with their untimely voices. Excuse me, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices, and women with children shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly, see, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. You see that? And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And guess what? We're giving a distinct sound. We're blowing the trumpet. We're warning Israel about what's coming upon the earth. Okay? We're warning the elect of the nation of Israel, because those are the only ones who's going to hearken and hear. Alright? And let's get the balance and we'll close it out here. This is Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13. Therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. You see that? Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. You see? Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow heart, and shall have for vexation of spirit. You see that? But the Lord said He's going to take care of His elect. Matter of fact, let's get one more and we'll close it up. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 5. I believe I want to start at verse 17. Yep, this is Job 5 and 17. The point is down, we're going to read all the way down to 23. It says, behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not the chastening of the Almighty. Yeah, the Lord deal with you as a son if He correcting you. Alright? For He maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth and His hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Yeah, 7 meaning what? Completion. In famine He shall redeem thee from death. You see? In famine He shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Ye shall be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. You remember we read about the beasts with the people, alright, earlier, because they don't have any food either. Well, guess what? The Lord said the beasts of the earth are going to be in league with His servants. Okay? It says, and thou shalt be in league, see, with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. See that? That's what Yahweh Shai has promised to His servants, those the ones who's been seeking Him while He may be found. Okay? That's going to be it for the lesson. Lord willing, it's been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, teach well. Lord willing, coming to you a lesson. Till the next time I say, Shalom.